www.MVRemix.com.
Why the name Kyprios?
Wow, starting off with that. That's really easy. I was writing poetry. I mean, I started writing poetry probably when I was about 11 or 12. And then I've got 5 older brothers, and they all influenced me a lot growing up. One of my brothers, my brother Matt, he started getting into hip hop when he was about 18. So I was 14 and thinking, wait a second, this stuff's kind of cool. Like, he was getting into underground, like ACLO, Freestyle Fellowship, like guys with conscious messages. So he kind of turned me onto it. And then I started converting my poems to rhymes and, like, trying to rhyme on beat and trying to freestyle. Anyways, I was going to school one day, and I had just, you always want a pseudonym that's cool, and I just had the worst names. People were calling me, like, the stupidest things. So one day I came into class, and that name was on the chalkboard, and I was like, "Yo, what does that mean?" And the teacher was like, "Oh, it's Latin for Lord, like Lord of the Manor, Lord of the Estate." And I'm like, "Yoink! I put that one in my pocket."
Yeah, it's a really good name. Who conceived the logo?
The logo was done by Acro. I came up with the concept of having a brain with, a mic, and then the mic having a brain popping out of the top of the mic, and I gave the idea to Acro, and he just ran with it.
So, who inspired you both with regards to having a cool logo and, of course, music?
I don't know who inspired. Okay, I guess that logo. Do you remember Tribal? That company, Tribal. Zodak used to design for them, and he designed this battle mic, and it was like he designed these 2 cool mics, and one mic was like a bat upside down, like it was a mic, like the image was crossed over. You looked like it was a sleeping mic, but it was also a bat. And then he had this battle mic where there was like battle axes and knives all on this mic. So that kind of gave me the idea to do something around the parameters of having a mic, and then when I looked at a mic head, it's a head, so I just thought, well, what I'm trying to do is kind of conscious lyricism, so I'm going to be a smart ass and have a brain popping out of the top of the mic. And as far as I guess MC inspiration, AC Alone was a very big inspiration, Mike and Nine, Phil Monch was very big. Who else, man? Who else is kind of more modern? Most Def is a big influence on me. Saul Williams, poets like Taylor Malley and Bo Sia. I really like their work. Obviously, Rakim. I studied his work a lot. I'm a huge Beatles fan. I love their late work. So.
Also, it's kind of a result of that with regards to your love for poetry. I've known a few rappers, and I've met a few rappers that performed with the Eureka, and it's very well known. How did you end up performing?
I moved to New York because I went out there. I drove out there with this girl Heather and Daylight for the 21st Rocksteady reunion, because Swollen was really unknown there, but Matt Child was Rocksteady. So they gave them like the opening slot, and we drove out there. And when I went out there, man, like, it just, at the time I was kind of depressed. I was really sick of emceeing. Some bullshit had gone down, like with regards to battling and stuff, where shit got physical when it was just, rap and just mental. And I got really uninspired. And when I went to New York, thank you, it just revitalized me. It gave me such an artistic energy that I spent all my time trying to get back there. I saved up some money, and I was studying acting and got back into rapping, and I saw this movie Slam Nation, which I think was like the Slam of 96 or 90. I can't remember. It was a Grand Slam. And I saw this film, and I was already doing like some spoken word shit. And then I learned about Slam, and it was just like, holy shit. And in that, it talked about the Nuyorican, so I knew I was going back to New York. And I'd actually been to the Nuyorican and was entered a hip-hop battle there, like the first time I was there for that Rocksteady. Thank you. And the energy there, I mean, you've been there, hey?
I haven't been there, but I know people that have.
Well, the energy in there, I started going there 3-4 nights a week. So, I try to qualify for for the main slam, and then when the main slam was on, I'd be there, and then they'd have other open mics, so I'd be there. It was just, at the time, it was producing such prolific writers and such creative people, and people that, you know, who had ideas and were so articulate that, you know, I'd never heard it said that way before. And it was, you know, it was just fuel. I mean, I just got in there, and I was so humbled, but I was like, I want to try to encapsulate, I want to be able to capture what these poets and what these MCs are doing. Like, I want to make people feel the way that I felt. So it, more than anything, it just gave me such a fucking energy burst and such inspiration to keep going. So, yeah, then I just started hanging out at the New Rican, and then, you know, open mics, battles, slams, I was just there.
Now, with Hate, when I saw the actual performance of video, you have an introduction, which is basically don't judge it until it's finished. Mm-hmm. When you performed it for the first time, did you have that as well?
No.
And how was the reception following?
Well, I mean, I like to think of Hate as like my first real slam. I had a couple of slams that, you know, that were okay, but this was the first piece that was really crafted out, like trying to get it under 3 minutes, trying to be able to put it, you know, so I'd be able to enter it. And when I wrote it, I was so nervous to have. What's this? This is the brief? Oh, okay. I thought it was thinking of me. All right, great. Thank you. Sorry, man. I'm just eating. But what I had it, and I read it to a couple of my friends that I was, you know, hanging out with in New York, and everyone was like, "Yo, you got to do that." And I was like, "Fuck, I don't know, man. I don't know." And they really encouraged me. So I went down there, and you know, my friend was with me, and he was like, he could see the paper shaking in my hand because I hadn't memorized it yet. I'd just written it, and I kind of had the courage to know that I was either going to win the slam, you know what I mean, and get called over, or you know, I was going to get lynched. But they, you know, it turns out I was worried for nothing, because the most conscious-minded, those people have heard and said everything. Yeah. So, you know, they liked Hate, but I mean, I honestly don't think it was like the craziest thing they'd ever heard. I was just really nervous, but it was very well received, and that to me ordained the piece and gave it the blessing for me to take it, bring it back home, and do it everywhere. Because I figure if I can get away with doing it there, then that's a blessing for me able to try to preach it somewhere else.
Considering your transition to Sony, assuming you've had the opportunity to meet some of the people you've looked up to, can you give me an account of an artist you've been able to maybe spend some time with, just even say hello to, who sticks out in your mind?
I guess Socrates was a pretty big one, because I grew up, you know, I had no idea that him and I were the same age, because, you know, he's been doing this for 12 years, but I guess, like, you know, when I was 18, I knew where I was at, and he already had a big tune. He already had a single and a video and all that shit out. And then I got to work and do a song with him, and I had no idea. You know, I just called him up, and I guess he'd heard a thing or two, and he was down to do a tune. And that was pretty inspiring and pretty humbling, because he's been really good to me. And he's just one of those people, like, they say that artists hold a mirror, you know, up to reality. But I think musicians kind of, you know, hold a mirror up to the sky, and like the good musicians, it's like it just beams down and it goes out. There's no pass go, there's no crossroad, and he's one of those people. Like, you know, you're in a studio session for 2 hours and he's already got 18 amazing ideas, and the song's fucking, you know, song's done. So that was pretty special.
Tell me about the album.
Well, it's I think it's finished. It's something that I've been trying to make for years. I mean, with my background, I was always into hip-hop, and I was also, one of my other brothers was also a really great guitarist. So I grew up on a lot of blues and rock and soul music as well. So I was, even before I got signed, what I'd be doing was I'd be commissioning someone who could make a beat. And I'd save my money to get to the studio, and then I'd also have, like, you know, I'd save a little bit more money, so maybe I could get an upright bass player, or maybe I could get a guitarist and a pianist just a session, because I always wanted my music to have a little bit more movement than just your kind of stereotypical 2-bar loop over and over again. So with this record, I kept it pretty organic with, you know, what I was doing. What I was trying to do, I've just been able to do on this song, and that's, you know, have a marriage between some stock sounds and some drum machine sounds, but having, you know, a bridge, a chorus, a pre-chorus, you know, like I'm able to create songs like, you know, kind of emulate the pop song formula in the sense that the songs got more body. And I've been doing that with rap and with spoken word and being able to sing as well. So on the record, there's everything from trumpets to flutes to harpsichords to clavs to cellos. What's the weird thing that Weird Al Yankovic plays?
I know what you're referring to.
Yeah, that like the polka thing. What's it? So, and then, you know, I got some, I tried to do very limited guests. I didn't want to come out and be the strength of anybody else. I wanted to kind of have my first record, you know, try to feature as few people as possible. I mean, the only notable people, I mean, it's Swollen because I've grown up with them and known them forever. Sweatshop because I'm still part of them. And then Socrates just because it's a kid that I've been wanting to work with forever. So, I don't know, man. It's different. I don't know how the public's going to react to it, but I know in 10 years, if I have children, I'll be very proud to show them that their father worked, you know, very intensely on making this record, and I won't have any regrets about it.
I've seen your music, I've heard your music with skate and snowboard videos. Are you much into that scene?
Yeah, I came from that scene.
Okay.
I grew up skating and you know, snowboarding. I just haven't had the time. I mean, I'm an old school skater. I mean, when kids started kickflipping and doing manuals and shit, that's when I was getting out of it by then. So, I mean, I still like to skate. I probably skate more longboard now than anything else. But every time I'm in New York, that's how I get around. I have my skateboards out there, and I've just a passion for snowboarding. I mean, I'm a hack at both of them, but I love them both dearly. So, anytime I have a second to do it, I will.
I love fight. If you can find any celebrity, who would you find?
That's a great fucking question. That is a great question. Oh, God, who would I just demolish? You know, I've answered this question before, but damn, who would I just beat the shit out of? Any celebrity.
The last interview I did was with Gab Blackalicious.
Uh-huh.
He said Gary Coleman.
Oh, that's cruel. That is cruel. Who really annoyed? You know who really annoyed? I'd probably beat up David Arquette. Yep. Courtney Cox's husband. He stayed at the 7th Place Hotel and he was a total dink, and I just hated his steez.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
What do you think of current Canadian politics? Paul Meyer and such?
Well, he didn't impress me that much. I just kind of had a chance to meet him in Edmonton, and he was doing the rush the vote thing, and, you know, he was someone asked him the question about what kind of stance he took on the downloading becoming legal. And it was very point-blank question. It was very easy to see, you know, which side you're standing on. That's all the person that asked the question wanted to hear. And, he did the very political thing. He danced around it. He danced and smiled, and he didn't address the issue. So, I mean, I think that the government is kind of like the tax man. You always want to be able to, like, you got to deal with them every day, you know, somehow. But you want to have someone that's going to be able to do the most for you with, you know, hurting you the least amount. And it's tough because you know how like everyone's always making promises and one second. I'm just seeing the MVRemix. Okay. I need to get this music. Sorry about that. Okay. So I think we've been in rougher shape before, but I think that, I mean, we have the power to be able to, I mean, if people understand the power of the vote and the power that the individual has, that we'll be fine.
What are you listening to these days?
What am I listening to these days? I'm making a lot of mixtapes out of CDs that I own. I'm listening to a lot of Bill Withers. I'm listening to some Nina Simone. I'm listening to Jill Scott. I'm listening to I love the new Jay-Z record. I'm listening to that Black album. I'm listening to some of the remixes of that. The White Album is always a staple. First disc of the White Album. And who else is getting rocked heavy right now? Rocking some brand new heavies too. Oh, I just heard, and yeah, I like the new ASAP Rock too. Bazooka Tooth, that shit's bad. That shit's really bad. And the MF Doom record too is really dope.
You heard of Mad Villain?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
No. Are there any collaborations of guest appearances you've yet to hear that you've recently worked on?
I just did a new Sock. Me and Sox did one song that's on the record. Him and I just got contracted to do a song for a Don McKellar film. He's the guy that wrote The Red Violin.
Oh, yeah.
He asked me to do a song for him, which was an honor in itself. And he was trying to get the song Bombs Over Baghdad by Outkast, and he couldn't get it. And he wanted a song for a club. And me and Sox were like, okay, we're going to do something close to that. And we came up with this thing, and it's a fucking monster. It is a monster. But other than that, nothing that I've worked on, but there's people that I'm dying to collaborate with. And, man, I'd love to do a song with Mike and I'd love to do a song with Mos. I'd like to do a song with Chaos, like just, there's people that are on the wish list, and then there's people that are tangible that I have a chance at being able to do a song if timing and schedule is worked out. And, yeah, there's a lot of people that I really would like to work with. I think if I get it, on the next record, I think that I will try to bring more people into the fold. But as I said, I didn't really want to, on the first record, I didn't want people looking at the back of the record to be saying, oh, he's got that person, so he can't do it on his own. I'm trying to be able to solidify my own, my own integrity as someone who can do it solo, that just wants to do collaborations. I'm not trying to use anyone's name for my benefit. I'd rather be able to establish my own name and be able to say, listen, it's in your best interest that you participate in a song. But you know what I mean? Like if someone's down to do it. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Do you have any last words you'd like to put to your fans?
Do I have any last words?
Yeah. Some comment that maybe you haven't made that you want to tell people.
I think that be conscious of what you listen to, what you see, what you hear. It's all, I guess we're all interpreters, but it's just knowing the language is as good as possible. And that means, everything's got a consequence. If you're listening to bullshit, if you're being force-fed bullshit, realize why they're doing it and why something's stuck in your head. Be able to be conscious of that and be able to stick the things in your head that you wish to stick in them. And that's television, that's movie, that's what you wear, what you're looking at, all of that shit. And, I just say thank you for the support and stay with me.